Running ads is not a substitute for having a bad online store. Running ads is not going to get you around the fact that you don't know your numbers. And last but not least, if you're running 4 online stores at the same time as a strategy, it's a sign that you don't really have a strategy. Now, if you have no clue where to start with this whole advertising your online store thing, then this is the perfect video for you to watch. I'm going to show you how to make your first $2,000 using Google Ads, and what I'm also going to do is I'm going to explain it to you like you've never done this before, because let's be honest, watching this video, you probably haven't done this before. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through some of the mistakes that I always see online store owners make when they start to run ads on their store. So hopefully we can help you avoid some headaches and save some money. Let's get started. Now, if you're brand new here, hi, my name is Devon Thomas, and what I do is I basically help small owners figure out Google Ads without having to hire overpriced agencies. And if you're interested in joining my private community where you can ask me anything and level up your shopping ads, then you can definitely check out the link in the description below. I'll tell you more about my online community towards the end of the video. So what exactly are Google Shopping Ads? Google Shopping Ads are the opposite of your Facebook and your Instagram ad. You see, when you advertise on Facebook or on Instagram, basically what they're doing is they're showing those products to people who they think might be interested in buying those products soon. So, for example, if you're selling a hairdryer, they will go and find people that are very likely to purchase hairdryers, and they'll start showing them your ads. The only problem is, I think we've all had those experiences where you're on social media and you keep on seeing ads for a product that you're never going to buy. So in other words, Facebook is just kind of guessing that you might be the type of person who actually needs that product. They don't know your specific needs at that specific moment. Now, when it comes to shopping ads, it's completely different, because if somebody's searching for that product on Google, it's highly likely that they're gonna buy that product straight away. So if somebody searches for marathon running shoes, it's probably because they are going to run a marathon in the near future. If somebody's searching for a 9-foot pool table, it's probably because they need that in their house, or maybe they are planning to buy a new house, or whatever the reason is, they're searching for it on Google, so you know the purchase intent is high. What this means for you is people are not just going to come onto your online store and just bounce away. People are actually going to stay and they're actually going to buy, because you know that that person is interested because they clicked on a shopping ad and not just a random Facebook ad. That's the difference, and that's why you're going to make money with Google Shopping Ads. So we covered all the reasons why shopping ads are amazing, why they are fantastic. But are there some niches and some types of businesses that they don't work for? Definitely. So if you have a coaching business or you're selling an online course, shopping ads are probably not for you, and you probably want to go and check out YouTube ads instead. I'll link a video about that up in the corner of this video. Another thing you want to do is, if you have some kind of service that you've connected to your Squarespace or Shopify store, then generally they won't work as well. So for example, one of my students was a eulogy writer, and she was trying to get clients using her Squarespace store, but her service was actually just a eulogy writing service for people. And if you're doing that type of business, then you're better off doing just your normal text ads. Stay away from shopping ads, because they'll burn money and you won't really understand why people aren't buying from you. Last but not least, the good news for you is, if you don't fall into those 2 categories, online learning and service related, then shopping ads are perfectly fine for you. If you're an e-commerce, if you're drop shipping, if you're selling retail products, if you're selling anything that you basically ship to the client, then you're perfectly fine running shopping ads. Alright, so how do you actually set up the shopping ads? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a high level overview in this video. If you want me to do a 1 or 2 hour deep dive, I just want you to comment down below with deep dive, and then I'll know that I should be making that video for you. But to give you a high level overview, you're going to need 3 things. Number 1, you're going to need some money. You're going to need about $300 or $500 so you can start testing out the ads, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Yes, you can do it with a smaller budget in theory. You can start off with like $40, but you're probably going to run out of money before you run into sales. You need to keep the traffic going so you can actually test and see if this is a viable strategy for you. The second thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a Google Ads account. This is where we're going to run the ads. This is also where we're going to pay for the ads and make any changes to the ads. And lastly, you're going to need a Google Merchant Center account. Now, Google Merchant Center connects to Google Ads, and it's basically where you upload your products and you have a shopping feed. There's a nice app on Shopify. I think it's called the SIMPROSYS app, and it kind of does everything for you. I'll put a link down to it in the description below. All you basically need to do is you need to have a Shopify store, you need to have that app, and that app will basically connect to Merchant Center for you, and it will port your products over into Google Ads. And I'll show you what it looks like on my screen in just a second. So those are the three things you need. You need your ad money, you need a Google Ads account, and you need a Google Merchant Center account as well. So how do you actually set one up? What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through it in the Google Ads dashboard. All you need to do is click on New Campaign. Once you do that, you're going to select sales because obviously we're trying to sell products through our online store. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you have conversion tracking enabled. Now, if you're an online store owner, the temptation is to do everything by yourself. I highly recommend that you get a developer to set up your conversion tracking because they are going to do a far better job of setting up conversion tracking than you are. It's going to take them 3 hours to do what you're going to figure out how to do in about 3.5 weeks. So rather just hire a professional, get it done, and then you know it's done properly, and you can worry about getting your online store pumping and getting those sales in. Now I'm going to click on continue here, and the next thing it's going to ask me is for an ad type. This is where you click on shopping ads, and last but not least, you're going to select your Merchant Center feed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one over here, and then I am going to choose, this is very important, I'm going to choose a standard shopping campaign. Now, if you have an online store with less than 50 products, you probably want to take a standard shopping campaign. If you have an online store and you have 200, 300, 400 products, then you're probably better off taking a performance max campaign, because what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that every single product is individually optimized. So shopping, you want to make sure that you're choosing the right one, because this is really going to affect how your online store works out. And that's it. Once you click on continue, you'll be taken to a section where you just select your targeting options, and then you are good to go. Now, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing this whole advertising thing. The first one is running ads is not a substitute for a bad online store. You can't just run ads and hope that things will work out for the best when you don't have the fundamentals in place. If your logo is bad, change it. If you don't have good product images, get good product images. If your online store looks disorganized and you have a whole bunch of random products, then I promise you this, you can spend thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on online ads. It's not going to make a difference because your shop is not ready to handle the conversion. The second thing I want to tell you is, if you are running an online store, you also need to make sure that you have the correct pages in place. This is a big thing with Google Shopping ads, and I think a lot of people don't talk about it, but if you have the right pages, it could mean the difference between Google sending a lot of good traffic to your store and sending almost no good traffic to your store. So make sure you have a shipping policy page, a terms and conditions page, a privacy policy page. Make sure that you are very specific with your refunds and your returns page. Make sure this is a separate page by itself where you explain exactly how the refunds work, how the returns work, if there are any refunds or returns. And last but not least, make sure you have a contact us page, but make sure it has your physical address and all your proper contact details there, so that Google knows that you're a real business and that you will look after the traffic that they send you. The second thing I want to tell you is that running ads is not a substitute for not knowing your numbers. You still have to know your numbers. You need to know how much profit is in each product. You need to know what your margins are, because when you're running ads, sometimes you might have products that you have to cut products that are always going to be losers. So for example, let's say your average cost of advertising and making a sale is $10, but you're selling stuff on your online store for $5. It doesn't matter how many of those sales you make, you will always have a deficit and you will always run at a loss. So you want to make sure that when you do run ads, that you're noticing which products have the most profit in them and which products are wasting money time after time. The next thing I'm going to tell you is that if you're trying to run 4 online stores at the same time, just pause what you're doing, focus on one store, get that store profitable, making money and running smoothly, and then do the next store and then the next store. I've had so many people come to me that are running 5-6 stores simultaneously, and all of them are losing money, but they think it's a great strategy because this way they get to test out everything in the market and see what works. It's not a great strategy. You're just splitting your time, splitting your energy, and that's why you feel so overwhelmed, because you can't give your full focus to one store. If you look at the most successful business owners, if you look at the most successful entrepreneurs, they started off with one product, made it successful, and then they branched into different products when they had the resources to do so. I highly recommend you do the same. And last but not least, we need to talk about online reviews. Now, reviews are everything. If you have a lot of reviews on your online store, you will always have a chance of getting a sale. If you have no reviews, there is no chance that you're going to get a sale. I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how cheap your product is. I don't care how much of a steal it is. You're just not going to get the sale because you have no proof that somebody's actually purchased from you and had a good idea. And you can use yourself as an example. Think about it. Would you go and put your credit card, your valuable credit card with money on it, on a store that you suspect might not be right or might be shady? You probably wouldn't do that. Why? Because you know that shady stores are going to steal your credit card details. That's exactly what people are scared about. And as the business owner, you might feel like your store is perfectly fine, you're doing everything above board, but if you don't have social proof that you've actually delivered products to people, people are going to see it and they're just not going to buy. So, what do we do? This leaves us with the chicken and egg problem. If you don't have reviews, people won't buy, but you don't want to put on fake reviews because obviously that's unethical. So what do? I highly recommend you go and you look at your customers from before you had your online store and you just send them a simple email. Send them an email saying, "Hi, I'm launching an online store. I know you bought this product from us before I had the online store, but I'd really like to hear what you think about it. Could you please reply on this with just 1 or 2 sentences and how much you would give it out of 5. You would then take that review and convert it to a review on your online store, and that's how you would get your first bunch of reviews. And you want to email a lot of people that you've sold to before you had your online store so you have a lot of reviews. Guys, this really matters, and this is really going to make a difference between making zero money with Shopify and making a lot of money with your online store. All right? So make sure you keep those things in mind. All right, so we've got all of that out of the way. Now let's put it on our leaderboard and let's see how we would rank our shopping ads. In terms of ease of use, I would rank shopping ads 5 out of 10. In terms of affordability, I would rank them 8 out of 10, and they are some of the most cost-effective ads that you can run with Google Ads right now. In terms of targeting, I would rank them 9 out of 10 because you know the person who's searching Google is actually looking for that product right now. As far as conversion rate goes, these have the second highest conversion rates of all Google ads, and that's why we score them at 7 out of 10, which gives them an overall score of 72.5%. and which brings them all the way up to second on our leaderboard. All right, so the final thing that we need to talk about is how do you take all of this knowledge I've given you and how do you actually level it up? Well, that's exactly what I do in my Google Ads private community. It's called the Feedback Circle, and I've got 7 hours of shopping ads training in there that's just like this, where I walk you through step by step what you need to do to get your first sales on your online store. The nice thing about my private community is you also get coaching from me. We do weekly coaching calls, and we have a whole section dedicated to looking at your online stores, critiquing them, and helping you to make your product landing pages absolutely beautiful so you know there's no problems. So if you really want to level up your ads, if you really want to understand this whole game and do it properly, what I highly recommend is you check out the Feedback Circle, my private community, at the link in the description below. Lastly, I just want to thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. And let me know down below in the comment section what type of online store you're building right now. I need that information so I can make more tailored and custom videos for you. And if you want to watch more videos on shopping ads and just learning how to make Google ads work on a small budget, you can check out these videos over here. I will see you next time. Peace.